Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael-Shawn and You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My @ name has not changed. It's also bang right there under my finger at Mike Dugar, Mikedugar. Shout out to everyone who is watching or listening via our YouTube channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. That's also the name of our Instagram handle, also the name of our TikTok handle. So go like, comment, share, rate, review, subscribe, repost, all the good buttons on all these platforms. Please press them for us. It means a lot. It helps the podcast go, helps the podcast grow. So even if you're just listening on Apple or whatever right now, walking your dog, doing the laundry, stuck in traffic, just go hit the buttons, and it means a lot to us. So thank you in advance. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206.
All right, y'all. It's a good day. It's a good day. Right now, y'all probably listening on Sunday. For Chris and I, it is, technically it's Sunday. Right now, it's after midnight. I'm in San Jose at my hotel. Chris is back at the crib. We're recapping Seahawks beating the Niners 13-3, at Levi's. You guys got a lot of questions, a lot of voicemails. We're going to spend most of the show on that. Maybe even do a mailbag or something this week, too, since there ain't no game to preview for next week, Chris.
Nope.
Because they done got the number 1 seed in the NFC for the first time since 2014. This is the 4th time. Just going to throw a lot of stats at you guys real quick. It's the 4th time in franchise history that the Seahawks have the number 1 seed. The 3 prior times they went to the Super Bowl, obviously won the 1 in 2013, lost the 1 in 2005, lost in 2014. 2014 is the last time that they had it, and they've won 14 games. I didn't realize this, Chris, to the end of the game. 14 games, most wins in regular season history for the Seahawks. Now, you get 17 of them now, so most of those other seasons were played with only 16 games. Still, it's an accomplishment. First division title since 2020, the COVID year, the road to Super Bowl 60, which will be played at Levi's Stadium. In the NFC, that runs through Seattle, a team that just shattered expectations, and we'll get into all that. But I want to talk about, because I was there today, obviously, or here, however you want to put that. And Chris, the scene was like some movie stuff. It felt like, at least for me. Right. So I walk into first I'm waiting to go in the locker room, and Jax comes out. He does the TV with Steve Rabel and someone else, I think Paul Sylvie. And he's got his 1 of 1 chain on. He's got his shades on. He's got his hat on. And then he's got a cigar. I'm like, wait, Jax don't smoke. And he's smoking it. And I think Steve Rabel was like asking him a question about it. He's like, yeah, man, I never had one before, but I mean, why not? It's the perfect time. And I just can't get those words out of my head, because I mean, you weren't there, Chris, but we've talked about it. Like, remember that scene in 2023 when these guys didn't make the playoffs? J Love brings the cigars, a well-intentioned bringing of cigars by Julian Love. He felt like they had a lot to celebrate, making it through the season. They didn't make the playoffs, but, they've been through a lot. He had just had a kid, so he was like, let's bring the cigars. They beat the Cardinals. Half the room is smoking cigars. Half the room is like, why are we smoking cigars again? Like, we didn't make the playoffs. What's going on here? It was a very awkward scene. It was, as we talked about back then, you should only smoke cigars if there's a consensus that this is a cigar smoking occasion. Like, it should not be up for debate. Like, it should be, something widely considered to be celebratory. And that wasn't the case 2 years ago. Now, fast forward to Saturday night. And then one of the first things I did, I went because I didn't know who brought the cigars, because there's smoke all in the locker room. I'm like, yo, it's a party. One of the first people I see is Julian Love. I said, you bring cigars again? He was like, nah. He said, I ain't doing that again. And I found out it was actually Jalen Sundell this time. But just it was just to for the guys who were part of that a couple years ago. It was just kind of cool to contrast the two teams. Like, look how far they've gone. 2 years ago, don't make the playoffs because you needed a bunch of other things to happen. You needed to win. I think the Bears needed to lose or something like that. There's no scoreboard watching this time. This team has earned the right. There is no scoreboard watching. The cigars make perfect sense this time. Turn up now. Like dance on the 49ers grave, at least for the time being, because they earned the right to celebrate. I thought that it just felt perfect. It just felt right. And Chris, the other thing that stood out being in there today is like it's weird. They hate the Niners. Like it's very clear. But also they're just like so unbothered by the Niners at the same time, too. Like I was telling my colleague at the Athletic, Marcus Thompson, I was telling him after the game, I was like, they don't like Juwan Jennings, but I don't think they feel that way about this Diamador Lenore cat. I think they just find him annoying. They're just like, why do you think you can talk to us like this? We're better than you, that's the sentiment. I can feel it. I don't have like a direct quote, but it really did feel like they were like, we don't really need to even acknowledge what Lenore was popping before. It was more so like, we're about to just come in here and beat some ass. Like that was it. The expectation was to beat some ass. Like last week, Ernest told me, he was like, no matter what the offense does, we should be dominant. He was like, if we score 3 points, we should win the game 3-0. He was dead serious. And for a minute, Chris, and not for a minute because they scored 7, I think, to start this game. But I was just when the score was 7-0 tonight, I was like, you know what? I see why Ernest feels that way. Because at no point I thought the Niners would score a touchdown. And they didn't. A team that had been lighting it up before this scored 42 points 6 days ago in the same building against another playoff team, by the way, in the Bears, was held to 3. Like it just felt right, and for the defense to be dominant, after years of like not being great under Pete Carroll on defense toward the end. It just really felt right. And then to top it all off, Chris, the Super Bowl's right back here. A lot of guys were like, let's come back here. And it just felt perfect. And I feel like they're going to. I think this team is going to get back to the Super Bowl.
What more can I add? Because for one, I think this is something the defense has wanted every game. From OTAs, Ernest Jones has preached about, we want it to be on us. They believe their defense is that elite. And you know what? Every time that comes up to question, they deliver. They deliver. Yeah, the Niners have injuries. So do the Seahawks. Okay? I understand that. So the fact that I didn't even know that about what Ernest Jones said to you. That's crazy. We should win 3-0. But I understand that. The process is we're not giving up anything. And that's how they believe the defense is and what they want to do to teams. They shut down the run game and they play really good coverage defense. They communicate well. I saw on multiple replays Ernest Jones getting into that deep dig where Shanahan still runs those plays. Nothing's changed. He's trying to get a drag underneath. Then he'll send a deep post over the top, and you just see Ernest Jones plastering it, dropping into that area, dropping into that zone. If you guys remember, he also got an interception week 1 doing that same thing. This time, Niners didn't test him on that because he was just playing such good coverage. But to your point, Mike, about how this Niners offense had just put up 40-plus points. They were on a roll. Granted, they were playing against not so good defenses, but you saw what happened when they faced an elite defense, one of the best in the NFL, if not the best. And they could only get up 3 points. Time of possession. They were off the field. Felt like 30 seconds, punt. It's unfortunate that the offense couldn't do as much, but I think their game plan was to just tire them out, run the damn football. Sam, don't turn it over, and we should win, and the Seahawks should win easily. And that's exactly what it looked like. I'm sure they'd won a couple of possessions back. I know Sam talked about that in the post-game presser, stating that he wanted to be more efficient in the red zone, or I should say first and goal and that type of thing, because there was an opportunity to score a touchdown in the flat to Zach Charbonnet, and they ended up going for it on 4th and short, and they didn't get it. But overall, the defense, what more can you say? This team is really, really, really good, especially the defensive side. And a lot goes to Mike McDonald. John Schneider, he hit it out the park, went and got his guy. And 2 years in, they have an opportunity now with home field advantage to get to the Super Bowl. And if they can get there, man, yeah, the odds of them winning have to be really good just because how do you score against this team? What can you do? Now, granted, there are some better teams in the NFC. I think the Eagles are a team that they're a lot better than the Niners. I think that's fair to say. But is their defense good enough to slow down JSN and company? The run game is building that confidence offensively. And Kanon had his best performance of the season. He was running it. Oh, how about those screens, Mike? They were 2 for 2 on Saturday. That was really impressive. So you just got to see an offense that found a groove and I think has confidence going into this bye and then getting prepared for whoever they're going to face, that they can run the football and they can do whatever they want. And if Sam doesn't turn the football over, it should be smooth sailing. Not smooth sailing. It should be a really good opportunity for this team to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they should, man. I mean, they should be right back here. I'm so happy. I was telling guys in the locker room, I'm so happy to not be getting on a plane in January. Man, like 5 East Coast trips this year, plus Nashville, plus Green Bay for joint practice. That sucked. So to be at home, yeah, man, it's great to be get a home playoff game in Seattle. Guaranteed at least one. I've never covered that. I covered the playoffs in 2018. Dallas. 2019, Green Bay and Lambeau. 2020, they were at home with no fans, So now I get to experience. I'm selfishly really excited about seeing that because, if you got to come up to Seattle and beat these guys, you better have a squad. You better have a squad. We'll get into matchups and all that and stuff now. You guys got a ton of voicemails. Chris tells me we have like 6, which is crazy. So we'll start with those, man. Let's see what you guys talking about.
Hey, Mike and Chris, it's Big Ginge over here in Spokane, Washington. Now, I got to ask, after such a dominating defensive battle there from our defense, should we just, punch our tickets to that Super Bowl right now? Because it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, what game was it after that I said they would go to the bowl? Was that the Niners game? Or no, the Rams game? I think it was the Rams game in prime time where I was like, y'all should book your tickets. It was that one, right?
It might have been. Correctly. It might have been. You said it earlier. It wasn't like.
Yeah. Either way. I felt this way a few weeks ago. Is the gist of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because I'm looking around the NFC. Yes, I think it was after. Because I remember I got to watch the rest of the league. So it was when they played the Thursday game, and I watched the rest of the league all weekend, and I was like, oh, the NFC's got a bunch of teams that are fraud. And you guys can see it too. You can go down the list. I think we've done it a few times now on the show where it's like the Eagles have a problem. I think it's mostly their offense. Their defense is actually pretty good. But yeah, their offense, the Rams are weird because I don't think they're as flawed as some of the other teams. But like then they just went and lost to the Falcons. It's that was completely inexcusable what happened to them. That shouldn't happen. But you can see that they have some issues. They have some issues there, and I think Stafford probably has benefited the most of any quarterback in this era of like DBs not being able to catch. So but you see what happens when they do catch the ball. Like it's very obvious that he's due for a lot of picks. When they won the Super Bowl, he led the league in picks. And then go down the list: Green Bay, Chicago's defense. Chicago, when they don't get turnovers, their defense is buns. They got a pick 6 that Sunday night, and then still give up 42. Right after that. Anyway, I'm not gonna go through every team, but yeah, I mean, I'd feel comfortable if I was a Seahawks fan. I think I said a few weeks ago, because every team has its warts. The Seahawks have their warts, but are the flaws you have fatal? And maybe in the Seahawks case, because their main flaw is Sam gonna turn it over? Yes or no? If the answer is no, you guys see what can happen. Ain't got to score that many points for the other team to win. Jason Myers makes a couple very makeable kicks today, and the score is what, 19-3? It'd be 19-3. Then it really looks like a beatdown. So yeah, I would do it. Mortgage the kid's future. Take out a second mortgage on the house. Whatever. Deal some drugs. Whatever you gotta do. Get your tickets. I think these guys are going.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Mike. Steve from Spokane. Huge victory for us tonight. I feel like the Seahawks answered so many lingering questions. Which one do you think is the most important lingering question that they answered today moving into the playoffs? And I feel like having answered those questions, that locker room must have been insane. Mike, is there something you can share from the locker room to share what the vibe was after a huge win like that? Thanks, guys. Love the pod.
I'll get to the locker. I got another locker room anecdote I'll share. But yeah, Chris, we got to tell them about what we were just talking about with the drives or with the long drive. We've been talking about this all year, and it came to fruition today.
The lingering question. I think Mike and I were talking about this like week 4 into the season. Like, can this team, when they're up, maybe not week 4, but we've been banging this drum for quite some time. When this team is up, can they chew clock? And they did it in the fourth quarter. They had the ball for about 10 minutes. They had it for 8 minutes. Got it to damn near the 2-minute warning. It was 2:24 when Jason Myers attempted the field goal, albeit he missed it. The point is, they did something that Mike and I have been wanting to see all season for the most part. When you go up, can you be physical, get first downs on the ground, and move the football? And they did that. They bucked up. They moved guys out the way. Everyone pitched in and did their part. Jason Myers, unfortunately, didn't finish with points, but it's on tape now. And when they go back and watch it, I'm sure they're going to be high-fiving and saying that is how you play football when there's 10 minutes left in the game. You obviously need points to seal the deal. I think that was the big question mark for this offense because we hadn't seen it for 17 weeks. Mike and I, that is, and fans too. You guys hadn't seen it for 17 weeks. They gotten close but to be able to do it the way they did, chewing up that clock, and the Niners looking at each other like, damn, but what can we do? They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't, and they were demoralized. You look in their eyes, and they're just like watching the clock tick down. Someone saying, I got to force a fumble. I got to do something, and they just couldn't. Whether it be a play-action pass or a nice run to the right or a run up the gut, the Seahawks were efficient, and they answered the call.
Yeah, I want to read you guys the drive Chris is talking about. It's right after Drake got the pick. Now, that didn't end they took over at their own 3 with 10:21 left. You guys know I chart every play, right? You guys can't see my chicken scratch, but I chart every play. This drive was so huge. It was so huge. Because honestly, I don't know if you were, Chris, I was nervous. When they lined up on 1st and 10 at their own 3, I'm like, damn, Sam's in his own end zone again. Like, we've seen that not go well this year.
I wasn't nervous because Bosa wasn't out there, so I'm thinking they'll be all right. They will be fine. Just hand the ball off. Let's see what you guys can do here. I didn't expect it to, them attempt a field goal with 2:24. That part I didn't expect, but continue.
Yeah, so the first drive, under center, and I want to read these personnels too because this is big boy football. First play, under center, 13 personnel. A 1-yard run by Zach. Next play, under center, 12 personnel, so 2 tight ends. Sam to Jax for 13 yards. First down. So now we're out the end zone. Very big first down. Next play, under center, Zach, 2-yard run. Next play, shotgun. I think Sam scrambles for 6 yards. Then the next play, 3rd and 3, Cooper Kupp, 5-yard catch. Now we're at 7 minutes and 22 seconds. We already bled 3 minutes right there and picked up 2 first downs. This is huge. It's like that Chris Berman thing when he does the fastest 2 minutes or whatever. Tick, 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 All right, now we got a fresh set of downs. Under center, 21 personnel. Now we got Robbie Oots in the game. 11-yard run by K9. Oh, that worked. Let's do it again. Under center, 21 personnel. Robbie Oots in the game. 11-yard run by K9. It's like that LeBron meme. Like, here go 2 more for y'all, Next play, under center, play action. I think a check down to Zach Charbonnet, 6 yards. Next play, shotgun run, which I hate, whatever. Charbonnet, 6 yards for a first down. So now they're set. Now, this is where, Chris, this is why I'm reading what they were doing here because it's important. Because what was the next play? A play action rollout where Sam almost threw a pick. Like, it was very obvious what they should be doing here. Oh, my goodness. Kubiak, my boy. You're getting too cute. And then we got under center, 12 personnel. Ken runs for no gain. 3rd and 10, no problem. Sam makes a play, 24 yards to Cooper Kupp. And then 3 straight Zach runs before the missed field goal. Those got 9 yards on 3 attempts. So, yes, like Chris said, they didn't score. It didn't matter. And that's why these type of drives are so important. If the other team can't score if they don't have the ball and you don't turn it over. That's the thing. And that's probably the other question that they answered is, can Sam just not turn it over in a big game? And the answer is today, yes. Today the answer was yes. If that DB had like some toe drag swag, maybe not. So he didn't today though, and that was huge. Another locker room thing I shared to Julian. Another thing that just really stood out is like these guys talk about like how connected they are and things like that, and NFL locker rooms are pretty cliquey. It's like defensive guys with defensive guys, position groups and position groups. Like for instance, if a guy gets married, right? This is a fun way to view this. Guy gets married, go look at his not the bridal party. What is it? The groomsmen or whatever. Look at the wedding party photos that they post any. It's almost always guys from their position group or guys that play defense or play offense with them or whatever, right? Because it's just very cliquey. A tight end gets married, all the groomsmen are tight ends or whatever, or offensive players, right? So I just don't see that vibe from this. Like it was so much cross contamination is negative, but you know what I mean? Like mingling. It was like our picture we're using for the show is Jackson Murph. You know what I mean? Like, and there was a lot of that. It was offensive guy, defensive guy, like special teams guys turning up together with the O-line, and that really felt in contrast with the 2023 team that smoked cigars too, because remember, it was mostly the DBs and the D-line that was smoking. And then the offense is on the other side of the room looking like, what? It was like that scene. I remember the Titans when the white players crashed the meeting. It was like two different teams. And, then, Denzel Washington cured racism and they were all one team. But that's what they were today is the end of Remember the Titans. And you could just feel it. It felt real and organic. And it wasn't anything anyone was saying. It was what everybody was doing. And so, yes, they were partying. They were turned up. They're pretty much turned up after every win. But that part really just stood out. It felt like, man, everybody did this for each other. And there was power in that, especially when you got one guy on the other team who's like, I want to play man against Jax. Boy, shut up. You play zone. I shouldn't say, boy, shut up. That's rude. But that's selfish. You guys play zone. What are you doing? And it showed. It shows in the difference between the two teams.
Hey guys, just wanted to start off by saying love the podcast. Been listening to many years now, and I love this Seahawks team. So thank you so much for a great pod while we're watching this great team. It seemed like today the strategy for the Seahawks on offense was to be really conservative with Sam and just run the ball down their throats, which worked against this San Fran team whose defense was really banged up and not playing very well. And I wonder if you guys think that this same offensive strategy is going to work against other teams that they're likely to play in the playoffs. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Yeah, I don't think it was to be conservative. I mean, shoot, they went for it on first. They threw the ball on 1st and goal from the 1 on the opening drive. They were very much trying to deliver some kill shots, and I respected that. Chris and I were talking about that play before we recorded. I mean, would Chris and I have? Actually, I'm not going to speak for Chris. I would have run it. Would you have run it on 1st and goal? Your first play?
To be honest, after watching the play, I mean,
before the play, this 1st to goal from the 1. They say, Chris, you get to call the play. Are you running it or throwing it?
I'm probably going to run it. But the thing is, now that I understand and saw what happened, the play worked. So I know a lot of fans were pissed off and like, that's the dumbest play call ever from the 1. Run the football. Guys, Sam Darnold did not throw the football to the wide open running back in the end zone. If he throws a touchdown, no one has this discussion. No one's saying it's a bad play call. Everyone's talking about Zach Charbonnet yet again with another touchdown. That is it. No, I'd be stunned if someone was like, "Oh, that was a terrible play call on a touchdown." You don't see that too often. Sam even said in the presser he missed a wide open Sharp. He wished he would just gave him a chance. I don't know what he was seeing and what he didn't see. He didn't throw the football. He was butt naked, open. He didn't hit him. It didn't work. That was a great play call. It just didn't work. The execution was poor. That's what it was. Good play call, poor execution. Sam takes 1,000% of the blame. It was blocked up well. Guy's wide open. He does a little spinarooski, and now you're 2nd and 8 from the goal because you decided how to throw the football. So I don't think it was a terrible play call. Kubiak should lay off Kubes on that one.
Yeah, and I think independent of the result, I just to get back to the conservatism, is that a word? Yeah, I just think that play is emblematic of like, no, they were trying to be aggressive, and it just didn't work. Which again, I can respect. It don't get much easier in the NFL than throwing the ball to the running back in the flat. Like that's, it's not like they called a goal line fade and like, why'd you do that? No, man, it's simple, pitch and catch. But then you go to the next drive, and I think that here's their 3 plays on the next drive. Under center, 21 personnel, Kenyon run for 3 yards. Under center, 21 personnel. I think they run like an out route to Jax for 5 yards. And then 3rd and 2, Charbonnet runs for a touchdown on 27 yards. So I don't think it was like, okay, they're not going to score, so let's just run the ball and play keep away. No, they wanted to score touchdowns, right? That's why Sam mentioned it. Like, we got in the red zone and didn't score a few times. They were trying to score. I think that this is the offense they've been trying to run, though. It's like, all right, we drafted a fullback. Like, we should use him. They want to be in 21 personnel. They want to be in 12 personnel. They want to be able to run at 11 personnel with Cooper Kupp kind of acting as another tight end. It just hasn't worked, but that's what they've been trying to do. The thing that has worked, if you're Kubiak, is like, well, if 14 throws it to Jax, we score points and we win the game. So I'm going to just keep doing that. But, they want to be able to run it early in games and late in games. So I think it was more so them just trying to just establish their identity, not so much as like, let's be conservative because we're scared of Sam turning it over, or we know the Niners won't score points. You can't kind of operate that way. And I'm glad that they don't. And the other thing is, the Niners, I don't know how much they could show on the broadcast, but the Niners play a lot of too high defense like the Seahawks do. So if you're a team with a fullback, how do you get them out of that too high shell? You put Robbie Oots on the field. You have no choice, and Saleh he didn't adjust to the second half, it felt like, of starting to load that box. But by then it didn't matter. They were out of linebackers. The linebackers were dropping like flies. They're already down defensive linemen. The DBs are like iffy tackling. You guys saw number 6, forget it, Mustafa or something like that, miss Zach on the touchdown run. So they don't tackle that well anyway. So that's how you beat that. You hear coaches and players talk about taking what the defense gives you. Well, they gave them light run boxes. So what they do? They put 2 tight ends on the field and ran it right up their throats, So I think that was the idea more than fear of failure. It was more so they're daring us to run it. Bet. Have some K9. Have some Zach Charbonnet, who those two together had their best day combined. I thought, I brought this up to Mike McDonald, I think last week. I was like, would you just ride the hot hand? Because what's happening is when one guy has a great efficient day, the other guy stinks. Go look at Zach's numbers when Ken went off against the Steelers. Go look at Zach's numbers when Ken went off against the Rams. Go look at Ken's numbers when Zach went off against the Panthers. They were never having them both be efficient. It was almost negating the guy's good day because the other guy was so inefficient with his carries. Well, let's look at the carries today, guys. 16 carries for 97 yards for Ken. That's 6.1 yards a pop. 17 carries for 74 yards. That's 4.4 yards a pop plus the tug. That's both of them being efficient today. That's what they were shooting. That's what they're shooting for every week. When you have that, it's not about being fear of failure or being conservative or whatever. They're trying that is their version of being aggressive. Nothing more aggressive than Robbie Oots meeting you in the B gap. That's aggressive as hell. I'm not speaking from experience, but I'm there at the game. It looked painful, right? That's why the Niners didn't have no linebackers by the end of the game. They get knocked out. So yeah, I don't think it was conservative. I think their version of aggressive was running down their throats today. I thought that was the perfect game plan for this.
So, fellas, Chris from Everett. What a big win. I know it wasn't as dominant offensively as it could have been, but still a great win. So I know this has been asked a ton, but what is Kubiak's aversion to running the tush push with Barner? Like, 1st and 10 on the 1 yard line, how are they not just running that? It's just frustrating with how many plays have gone wrong when they've tried to do something else and get cute on 3rd or 4th and short. Appreciate you guys. Hope you had a great New Year's and Christmas, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
That's right. See you in the playoffs. That feels good. That feels good, man. Yeah, because that's my other beef with Coop. Not my other beef. Just probably the only beef I had is just like, I'd be spamming the barnyard thing. That would be a run it till you stop it thing for me. I'm not really sure why it is for him. Like, just keep running it until they stop it, especially when you only got a yard to go.
It was a very long yard. I will say that much. It was.
Which one? The 1st and goal or the fourth quarter?
The 4th quarter one. It was a very long 1.5 yard. I understand why they didn't, but to your point, if they stop it, whatever. But I think they were just like, we're trying to chew some clock here. We're gonna kick this field goal. It's 2:24 left. we don't care really. So I understood.
So why not do it on the first play though? On the first and goal from the 1, not the 4. I get you on the fourth quarter, but first and goal from the 1, like barnyard.
Well, they figured.
That's why you designed that play.
They figured, hey, let's do a play action and get a touchdown to Sharp. It just didn't work out. So it didn't work out. They'll have more opportunities, and maybe they will just get the barnyard tush push in there, because it is. I think it's at 88, 89%. Or maybe it hasn't failed, to your point, Mike. I think they're 100%. So
I'll look it up at some point. But yeah, I'll look it up. I'm not going to do it right now. But yeah, it works. It works.
It does work. Yeah, it works. I understand both sides. I understand fans saying, what the hell? Why would you not do it? And I also understand Clint saying, we got other tricks up our sleeve. Let's see what we can do.
Hey, guys. Name's Max. I'm from Paulsbo. Just wondering, who do you think ends up 5 and 6 seed, and who would you rather see face-to-face in the divisional round? And do you think the Niners and Rams will both advance against their opponents? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so my understanding of the seeding is that if the Rams beat the Cardinals, which I believe they will, because the Rams are playing their starters, because McVay's like, we're playing bad ball right now. So we need a tune-up. Yeah, that sounds great until someone gets hurt. then someone's not playing ball at all. But so I think they'll beat the Cardinals. If they do, they'd be the 5 seed. The Niners would be the 6, which would send them probably to Philly, if I'm reading this right. And then the Rams would go to, we don't know who won the South yet.
Yeah.
And that division's a joke.
Terrible division.
Oh my God. So the Rams will probably go beat Tampa or whatever. I think the Saints are playing like a JV squad tomorrow against the Falcons. So who knows how that game goes. Anyway, so I think it'll be Rams 5, Niners 6. I think the Rams go to Tampa or Carolina, whatever, and beat them. And then we and Chris were just talking about this. I think the Niners can go beat Philly. That said, I do think Philly would probably win. So actually, you're probably looking at playing the Niners or Rams again in the divisional round. As far as the best opponent, I was just texting the homie, shout out to the homie Bill. I think the Seahawks are a Super Bowl team. I think they can get there no matter what the path is. However, I would like to avoid playing Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua. That would just be, the ideal path. And not as much, I'm not worried about those two as much as maybe I should say, Chris. I'm much more worried about Sam playing Chris Shula, who was the Rams defensive coordinator. Because as good as he was on Thursday night, at the end of that game, Sam has, in 2 games against Chris Shula, thrown 6 picks. That's just, I can't get that out of my head. Now compare that to what he's done against the Niners. He has 2 games, 1 turnover. The 1 turnover is Abe getting beat by Bosa and the ball flying out of his hand. Like, that's it. I would much rather, if I'm trying to see the Seahawks get to the Super Bowl, play the Niners. Avoid the Rams. You can beat the Rams, but like the best path is to just have someone else beat the Rams before you got to see them again.
I like that. That's fair. I think the Eagles for me would be the one team where I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be a tough matchup. I just think, I know they're not hitting on all cylinders, but they won a Super Bowl for a reason last year. They proved to be the best team in the NFL. They're going through tough times right now. But you know what? That's what makes a championship team, going through adversity and winning. And right now, they're not the number 1 seed. They're going to have to go on the road and win some games. But what other team do you think could do that? You look around the NFC. If I had to put money on a team, it'd probably be either the Eagles or the Rams, to Mike's point. I don't know if you want to see the Rams a third time just because they are problems. And yeah, 6 turnovers is not a recipe. And not to mention, you need Rashid Shaheed to go bonkers. And if he doesn't, you're talking about a loss, and the Seahawks don't even capture number 1 seed. So there's a lot of things that play into going up against the Rams, albeit I think the Seahawks can beat them, but you're just asking a lot of Sam to deliver, like no turnovers against a team that says, hey, man, you want to give us the ball. You want to. Go ahead. Cough it up. Throw us one. And ultimately, he succumbs to those. He succumbs to it. So you take your chances elsewhere, and you just run the football, play action pass, defense does what they do, and you're saying, oh my gosh, Seahawks are back in the Super Bowl in Santa Clara taking on, I don't know, the Patriots. How storybook would that be, Mike? I know you hinted at it last week.
Yeah,
so I'm still in it this week. But look out now. So we'll see how it all plays out. But it's a good start for this team to reach their goal of winning the division. That was the first goal. Second goal, win the entire NFC, check, and they have an opportunity to win the big game, which is the Super Bowl.
Yo, it's Corey from Seattle. I'm curious to know what is the hype song in the locker room right now. First place NFC West, first round bye. What's everyone rocking to? Peace.
What you got, Mike?
Oh, that's a good question.
Not like us. Was that jamming?
No. It's definitely just like someone's putting on the trap music playlist, and like Chris and I listen to a lot of trap music ourselves. They be playing some cats I ain't even heard. Maybe I'm just getting old, but that stuff just be thumping. Man, I could probably. They don't have like a song. I'll put it that way. They don't have like one song. Because a lot of different guys rotating on the aux. Like sometimes, I walk in there and then the song's playing, and then like Rico run over and be like, "All right, I'm up," and changes the song. like Nick could go change the song, Nicki Miwari, or request something. So it changes quite a bit. The walk in your trap, take over your trap definitely gets played when they win road games. I don't know if it got played today. They took so long to open the locker room today. They was in there partying for I felt like 30 minutes before they let us in. Usually it's like 10 minutes, even after a win. So there's not one song. I wish there was. If there is, they play it before we get in there, because they're turning up for a long time before we actually get in. So they don't have one song, but it's always real trappy. It's always thumping, always bass booming. But yeah, it's not anything I recognize. It's not like a popular hit smash song like they maybe used to have. Like the LOB team was using, like Rick Ross's "Hold Me Back" as one of their popular. They don't have like one of those. It really just is.
That's such a fire song. These can't hold me back.
No, it's crazy. I would just like them to pick a song that everybody can sing along to.
Well, that's not happening. Not in rap.
Yeah, no, it's very tough. If you're the old lineman, you got to basically just chill. Actually, no, they got two white guys on the old line. But anyway, so yeah, it's not one song, but they are just partying like crazy in there. And it really is just crazy good vibes. It really is. I was laughing with some guys. This wasn't part of the question, but I was just laughing with some guys about like Lenore. I don't know if we've given the background, but I'm sure it's been discussed. You find on social media. Diameter Lenore called out Jax, said he won. Yeah, he's number 2 for the Niners, their best corner. Says he wanted to cover man to man, and it was just so many guys in the locker room joking like, "What's wrong with him?" It's like, why? Because here's the thing: nobody's like ducking smoke. Nobody's like, no one should call out Jax. So he's not like Voldemort. But it was just like, if you're gonna do that, you should be a better corner. Like if Patrick Surtain, they're gonna go in the Super Bowl, right? And Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos, like, yup, number 11, you gotta see me on Sunday. Everyone on the Niners would be like, much respect to PS2, bet we like 11 on Sunday. That's it. It wouldn't be nothing crazy. But in the locker room, it was like, who does he think he is? It's like Jax has 1,800 yards. He had 120 last time he played y'all. Like it don't make sense. It's not like he's out here just strapping everything up. So it was just I was talking to a lot of guys in the locker room about that. It was just offense and defense, because it really did feel like everyone was just like laughing. They just knew like Jax is about to just turn up, and Jax didn't go crazy, but he only had 84 yards. That's all he needed. They couldn't score. Anyway, I know that wasn't the question, but I just wanted to share that.
No, that's fine. Plant a menace. I saw Horton is out for the season. Any hope for Elijah Arroyo on a playoff run, Mike? Any updates? I know you got a chance to talk to a lot of got a chance to talk to Mike McDonald. Any updates on Elijah Arroyo and if he can hopefully make it back in the postseason?
I haven't heard the latest, but I don't think anyone else is like super in danger of not coming back. I think right now it's just Torrey, which is good news because they should get Kobe back next week. Not that Ty Okada and Julian Love aren't playing well; they're playing fine. But Kobe's nice to have back out there. They should get Charles Cross back. It does suck about Torrey. I mean, shoot, talk about this being John Snyder's year. I don't know how much they knew about Torrey's injury at the time of trading for Shaheed. I think they were just feeling like they were adding. And then what do you know? Like immediately once you get Shaheed, you need him like bad, because not only was Torrey a good receiver, he's also your kick returner. And then what do you know? The guy you trade for makes the Pro Bowl as the returner. It's just crazy good luck for Schneider. Unfortunate for Torrey. But I expect him to get Elijah back. I'll know more later in the week though. But it does feel like they're getting a little healthier now. Like I said, getting Charles back, getting Kobe back. Whew. Yeah, man, it's gonna be tough for somebody to come to Seattle and beat these guys. If Jalen Hurts has to play, sorry, I was thinking about this when you mentioned the Eagles. If Jalen Hurts has to play against Mike McDonald's defense in a playoff game in Seattle, Eagles fans will be Googling mock drafts when looking for QBs. I guarantee it will be bad. Sorry, that's an aside, but go ahead.
This next one is from Levi. How do the Seahawks stay sharp and keep this momentum after the bye?
This is where the mindset of your head coach really matters. Because Chris and I have talked about this quite a bit. Your team has to mirror your head coach. It does. You got to, and whatever that looks like. I think the Chargers are like a Jim Harbaugh team. Like you can kind of feel that, particularly because I think him and Herbert really work well together and like kind of embody a lot of the same principles. Harbaugh is just more of a natural orator of sorts, I guess, where Herbert doesn't say anything. But, Dan Campbell and the Lions are another good example. Like, what a Dan Campbell team is going to give you. I think the best example over the last, of our generation is Mike Tomlin. Like, the Steelers just have a vibe to them. Whether they're that good or not is whatever, but you just know, all right, a Mike Tomlin team is going to play like this. They're going to have this attitude and do this. That's why when their defense is so bad, everyone's pissed in Pittsburgh. It's like, this is not us, And the Seahawks have kind of become that too. So I think I bring Mike up because, man, Mike McDonald's one of those guys who I really do wonder, how he, got married, And I don't say that in a attractive way. I'm like, do you get happy about things? Do you say things that are sweet and romantic and you say them and I'm like, ooh, that was fire. You know what I mean? Like Mike McDonald just. I was so excited to hear his post-game speech that the team posted. I don't know, Chris, have you seen it?
I haven't, but I'm guessing he didn't blow you away.
No, he was like, you know what, guys, you earned this. I was like, that's it, huh? That's what you get.
Man.
But that's Mike though, because he's like, all right, you earned it. That's great. Let's turn up. And then tomorrow he's gonna be criticizing the offense and going over defensive calls that sucked, and it's gonna be right next to the next mission. And that's who he is, though, But it's really I wonder, man, what did you say when you proposed? You just throw the ring at her? Something I'm like,
hey,
what did you say?
I love you, but I think we should challenge ourselves and take this next step. What do you say?
Yes, I bet you something like that. I'm just like, yo, give me something, man. Give me something. Reminds me of that scene in Creed 2. Michael B. Jordan's about to propose to Tessa Thompson, his girlfriend in the movie, and he asked Rocky Balboa for advice, and he's like, all right, yeah, what did you say? He was like, Sylvester Stallone says, I told her, how would you feel about would you not mind that much getting married to me or something like that, something just awful? And Michael B was like, that's it, huh? He was like, yeah, that's Mike McDonald, but that's a good thing though. I'm joking and making it sound. It's a great thing. It is, because these guys, it's a mission. So many of those guys in the locker room are like, we're not. And they were like, I was saying congrats to a few guys, and they were just like, thank you, but we're not done. It was a lot of appreciate that. It was a lot of no one talks like that. I should talk like them. It was more appreciate that, bro. We ain't done yet though, for real. It was more like that. It was a lot of that. Guys are feeling good, but also we're not done. We're not done. We come in. Next team's getting the belt, just like the Niners. That was the thought, and that comes from Mike. That comes from him. He'll celebrate something real fast, and then initially it's like, all right, who's getting it next? So I think that's how they'll be fine, through the bye.
Yeah, that reminded me of when Marcus Peters, who played for the Rams, he had that viral moment when he was an All-Pro. I think we ain't done yet. Said that 3 times to the reporters. I think we ain't done yet. So the Seahawks are definitely happy about what they've accomplished for the regular season, but they have another goal in mind, and they are in total control to get to that goal. we'll see how this all plays out. This is from RG in Seattle. Despite relative dominance on the offense, should Seahawks fans be concerned with only 13 points being scored?
Yeah, I mean, the red zone stuff is not great. I do think they need to run the ball better in the red zone. Um, but I didn't think the process. We've critiqued the process. I was not worried about like how it looked per se. You're like Sam. I've seen Sam make that throw in the flat. I think it just simple stuff today. Whereas for instance, I'll compare it. Today felt a lot better. Like they didn't get it done in the red zone today. I was less concerned coming out of it. I haven't watched the film, obviously, as opposed to the Rams game in LA when they were like 0 for 3 or something in the red zone. That game, I was like, oh, you guys have a problem. That was the number 2 red zone defense in the league at the time. And they looked like it. It made the Seahawks look like a not good red zone offense. That game, I was worried. This game, I'm not worried as much because, I asked Mac McDonald this week. He talks a lot about like letting the game declare itself, and when by that he means like you guys can kind of feel what type of game it's going to be. Sometimes like the Bucks game, it was clear very early. Oh, okay, we're gonna have to score some points today, right? So you call the game accordingly. And then like the Colts game, for instance, it kind of felt after a little bit like, okay, this is gonna be a grind. The Vikings game kind of felt the same way. Sometimes they've blown some teams out in the second half, but you could just kind of tell. The Commanders game was like, oh, okay, we got this, and I asked him, I was like, does the quarterback have to kind of feel how the game declares itself and adjust accordingly too? And he was like, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, a little bit. And I bring that up because this game, I don't know when it became clear to Mike McDonald and them, but I would say for me, after they scored, so they went down and then didn't go for, or they went for it, didn't get it. They forced a 3 and out. The Niners punt. And then the Seahawks score 3 plays later, then force another 3 and out. The Seahawks took over and they had the ball going into the second quarter. At that point, Chris, for me, I was like, okay, if they get to like 10 points, this thing is over. Now, that doesn't mean you can only score 10, but I do think that they felt the game a little bit. It was like, not that, again, it doesn't mean conservative, but it was like, and if we get this run game going and lean on them, they're not going to have the ball enough to beat us. And sometimes games are going to be like that, whether the weather's bad or whatever. And then sometimes it's going to be like, hey, we need to go for 4th down every time, go for it on 4th and 5, because we're going to have to score 35 points. Like you can feel those games. So I thought Clint Kubiak, Mike McDonald, Sam, all those guys felt the game really well in that regard. And then I thought they were pretty decent on 3rd down too. So yeah, I'm not worried. Is not the word. They do need to be better if you play the Rams again. But like if they play the Niners again, I think you run that same game plan back, force them guys to come stop you when you put Robbie Oots on the field.
This next one is from Bam Bam Cam. Have the Seahawks lost confidence in Sam, and has Sam lost confidence in himself?
No, that's why I keep talking about the plan, because I don't think. Mike McDonald just joked about him not saying nothing. Like nothing of substance. You guys really, you notice I don't really quote him much in any of my articles for a reason. But I think maybe the best and most important thing he said that wasn't a cliche was when he got asked about the Cooper Cup catch in overtime against the Rams, a little corner route. And he said, he just got asked about that play. But on top of just describing the play, he said, that's why I can't just tell Sam not to turn it over, because then he doesn't make throws like that. That's under duress to the far side of the field, over the corner in front of the safety to the sideline. That's while getting smacked. That's a tough throw in overtime while they're down, right? That's a risky throw. Corner picks that or whatever. Game is over, So, and that quote I think really sums up why Mike and Sam work so well, because I do think Sam's never said this, and maybe I can ask some people around the Vikings, but it does feel like that is what was going on with Minnesota. Maybe especially towards the end of the year, they were like, "Hey, Sam, go out there, protect the ball." It really is overall with the movie scenes today, Chris. It's like I probably quoted this scene from Inception, the one where Leonardo and them is like stealing dreams and stuff. there's a scene in there where they're explaining how Inception works. It's the idea of like planting an idea in someone's brain. The scene goes, the guy goes to him, he says, "Don't think about elephants." And and then he says, "All right, cool. What are you thinking about?" The guy's like, "Elephants." Exactly right. Because I just said don't think about elephants, right? Like you're thinking about them now because I told you not to think about them. The same thing with turnovers and Sam, I think. I'll never probably get a one-on-one with Sam to ask him about this, and he probably wouldn't admit it till after the season if that was the case. But I would almost bet that that's part of the messaging. That's part of Mike Macdonald's plan. That's part of what he's learned that makes Sam work. Is like, I can't just go out there and tell him, hey, go protect, just don't turn it over, we'll win the game. No, you got to let Sam be Sam. Now, you can still run the ball, play action, which they were doing a lot of. Today was a huge run the ball, play action day. But I don't think it was that because they're like afraid of Sam. You do got to let Sam be Sam to some extent. And I think that's what Mike Macdonald's done a good job of. It's like, let him go out there and fire it. Now, do I agree with that? Not really, because from my chair, I am just being like, hey, man, don't go turn it over. But I'm not the coach. The coach has to have different messaging for the players. Like, you got to know what works for each guy. And I think that's what Mike Macdonald, again, no one's told me this, but I feel like that has been what's worked for him, is letting Sam be Sam and not being out there and like, hey, man, go out there and don't screw up. No, he doesn't work like that, because then what's he going to do? Screw up. And it's going to be your fault as the coach for talking to him like that, knowing that doesn't work for him.
Eric Hall. I know it might be too early for this discussion topic, but did the Seahawks find their next franchise quarterback?
That's a good question. Yes, yeah. Is it? We'll see. We'll see, won't we? We will see, won't we? Because here's the thing. This is the based on what we saw throughout the season, this is the style that they need. Like this is the preferred version of ball, I think, for them. It's not the air it out, because I do think that lends itself to Sam doing something stupid. But it makes you wonder if that is the preferred style of ball. Is this the guy? But that said, Chris, I was thinking about this today. I was like, Sam is the perfect conundrum. It's like he's got this he's got this tag on him that's like he can't get it done in the big game, which is fine. I'm not really here to debate it. But at the same time, he does play well enough so that your team has big games. There's not a lot of quarterbacks like that either, though. There's not a lot of them that are like Kirk Cousins doesn't get in a lot of big games because he's not that good. He doesn't get you in enough of them to lose them. Sam has quarterbacked two teams to 14-3 records in back-to-back years. Like, clearly he's doing something good enough to make the games matter. So I don't know. Does that make him the guy? I don't have a good answer for that.
This next one is from Javier. Did Eamon prove that he is the defensive rookie of the year?
Yes. Chris, it's unfortunate, because I do think that the Carson Schlesinger dude is going to win. That's the Browns middle linebacker. But honestly, you look at and I've watched a little bit of the Browns defense this year in the little spare time I've had, mostly to watch Myles Garrett, to be clear, because that dude is from whatever planet the aliens were from in Men in Black, because that's just what he's doing is not real. But anyway, I say that to say I've seen Carson. I don't know, Chris. I don't see another impact player like Nick as a rookie. Not even the James Pierce cat in Atlanta, who has like 8 interceptions. Why do I keep messing this up? He has like 8 sacks this year. I feel like Nick is the best rookie in the league this year, to me.
He's so versatile. He could play basically any position in that secondary. You need him to play corner? Done. You know what? How about you play linebacker nickel? No problem. Fights off tight ends. Throws receivers around. Gets to the football. What can he do? Rush the passer? He can put pressure on the quarterback. He can get a sack. You guys remember Jamal Adams? He's the younger version of that, and he can defend the pass a lot better. He can get back there and really make it tough for teams to try to single him out. It's not too often he gets one-on-one and he's just barbecued out there. You don't see that too often. He's really good. He can be better going backwards, but that's what Mike Macdonald loves him, because he's able to put him on the field and use him in so many different ways. And the offense is like, damn, this guy, we can't block him. We can't just run by him because he's freaking fast. What can you do? He's a matchup nightmare on the defensive side of things. You just have to plan to maybe not run to his side. You try it, you see what happens. Tight ends get blown up. It just does not work. So I'm with you. I understand that the Browns have a really talented middle linebacker, and I'm sure reporters will probably say, we'll take him. The bias stands in there because we watch 17 Seahawks games and they've watched 17 Brown games. So I get the debate. It'll be fun to see if Nick can get the award, but I think right now it's favoring that linebacker. So we'll see how it all plays out. He had a really strong game on Saturday, but he didn't have a lot of splash plays, and that's kind of what draws the winner. Like how many interceptions, how many sacks, how many forced fumbles, those type of things are important as opposed to, oh, well, he just blew up a block and created a lane for, I don't know, Ernest Jones to make a play or another safety. Things of that nature don't come into fruition when you are going into votes. It's more so, again, those big plays that happen. Like, what does a stat say? How many PBUs does he have this season?
I do have the stats, by the way, if you want to see them. Got them pulled up. Yeah, so it's interesting. So splash plays, Schlesinger has more by 3, according to True Media. It's 3 more, despite playing 200 more snaps. And that's before his team plays again on Sunday. They both have the same number of sacks, 2.5. The one of Nick's is just Phillip Rivers falling over. But they have Nick has 3 run stuffs. Carson has 6. Now that's run stuffs or run stops for exactly 0 yards. And then tackles for loss on run plays or screens or whatever. Carson has 9. Nick has 6. Nick has the 1 interception. Carson has 2. I think he might have scored on his. Passes defense. Carson has 3. Nick has 11. And then Carson has about 70 more tackles or something like that, which makes sense because he's an inside linebacker and has played more games. Yeah, so one guy's got better coverage numbers. One guy's got better, tackle numbers. That makes sense when you factor in their positions. But I mean, they really are comparable players, honestly, when you look at it in terms of QB hits, TFLs. Like a lot of it matches up, man. Carson did not score on his pick, by the way. So the last thing I'll give you guys on the stats on this. True Media tracks how many snaps per splash play you have, which is good because then that factors in for guys who are like an inside linebacker playing so many snaps. Nick produces a splash play once every 23 plays. Carson's number once every 26.6. So Nick's actually making those plays more often, which makes sense. So Nick would have my vote, probably then Carson, then James Pierce. But I think that right now, I think Carson's going to win.
This is from Andrew. Deliberate plan to involve Cup late in games, ? Why don't the Seahawks go with him earlier? Because he's old and they got JSN.
Yeah, I mean, like Cup's there to make a few plays a game, but it's like 3rd and Cup. That's for 3rd and Coop, however you guys want to put it. Because I think both of his catches today were on 3rd down. Let's see. Yeah, 2 catches, 29 yards here, both on 3rd down. Like, and honestly, when you got Rashid, that's fine. And when you're running it like this, that's fine. They probably will need a little bit more from him in the postseason, but this is the role. That's why you traded for Shaheed, so you could put Cup in this role. Cup still gets open, good on 3rd down. I thought both 3rd down catches, they came on the last drive. That's important. That's what he is for this offense on the field. He does some other stuff like blocking and mentorship, but like in terms of the receiver, that's his role. And I think that's fine. I don't think you need much else. I feel like they got other playmakers who can do stuff when you need them to. AJ is pretty reliable. Still waiting on the Shaheed deep bomb. I gave up on it. Chris is still holding out hope. Are you still holding out hope now? You look like you might have given up.
Man, there's guaranteed 2 playoff games, or I should say at least 1. So can you get one? Can he get one? Can you get one? You got here, you traded for him. He's done everything else but get that. Crazy.
Yeah.
Punt return, kick return. He got a 33-yard end-around run. Can you hit him deep, splitting the safeties? Can you do that? And teams are just not falling for it. They're just like, oh, he's in the game. We know what he likes to do. 30 yards off. We get it. And it's not working. Watching the tape, I'm just like, damn, he got 2 safeties there. And they're over the top. It's not, oh, I can probably drop it in the bucket. Nah, the safeties are right on it. As Mike always says, yeah, these teams watch film too, and they're doing a good job of playing over the top. So it would have been nice maybe for the Seahawks to have Rashid to start the season. Maybe we would have hit it early because he's on a new system. How did they get him open? How are they running things? Now it's just like, yeah, we know what you're trying to do. As soon as Shaheed comes on the field, teams are assuming a slant, a deep shot, a deep comeback. Those 3 routes. If you can just sit on the deep stuff, you'll be okay because he's not going to really make you miss too often. But if he hits that hole, he can definitely take it to the house, as you guys have seen on a kick return and punt return. So I'm not giving up hope. I probably should, but I'm going to just stay ignorant to the fact that, hey, it can still happen. You never know. This next one is from, we'll go here. Is Jason Myers ready for the playoffs? This is from Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. My goodness. Yeah, those are bad misses today. It wasn't too windy, I don't think, when he missed those. The sample size is large enough now. Jason's pretty accurate on the season. I think he'll be fine. Kicking at home, it can be tough, outdoor. Who knows what the weather's going to be like in Seattle. But I don't want to overreact to one game, because before today, I'm pretty sure he hadn't missed since the Rams game. And that was like a 60-something yarder, that I never thought he would make anyway. So he's been pretty money. I didn't talk to him after the game. Definitely needs to be better, though, for sure. You can't have that. You can't miss the gimmies, though, too. If he had missed like some 50-plus today, I'd be like, well, that happens. Kick outside. No, he missed a 40-something yarder and then missed like a chip
40
shot.
I forget, he made the 47-yard one. Damn it.
So he missed the 40. He missed the 48 then and made the 45.
That's what it was. Okay.
I would say. Yeah, so you got to make those. I think he'll be fine. Just a sample size. Like he missed a couple today, but had been solid for like 2 months or a month and some change. So again, I'm not going to overreact to one game. I think he should be fine.
This next one is from E. Are the Rams the only team in the Seahawks way?
I think so. I think you could get a scenario where, I'm not worried about the Eagles just because I think you get a game like this against them where the other team just can't move the ball. I'm really low on Jalen Hurts lately, and that that Eagles O line is not the one that won the Super Bowl last year. So I think, Chris, the only one we talked about the Rams a little bit, and we know why those reasons are. Mostly mine are the Rams DC. That guy he's a problem. He's mostly a problem for Sam, but he's a problem. He's a problem nonetheless. I would say probably the only other scenario is you play the Bears and you just get on the wrong side of turnovers. Because that Bears defense, that's what they do. They force turnovers. They're not a good defense. They are a turnover reliant defense. Those defenses typically are not very good. And then the next year when they don't get turnovers, they fall off a cliff. That's what the Bears are. But in one game, sample size does not really matter that much. Like you just get a couple bounces your way. That's it. That can be the difference between going to the Super Bowl and not. We talked a little bit about it today. Sam got stepped on by Jalen Sundell. The ball happened to bounce right back to Zach, I believe, on the handoff. If that doesn't, the Niners have the ball in the red zone or just right outside the red zone. That's just been a fluky play. That would have been nothing like wrong with Kubiak or the call or Darnold decision or anything. Darnold almost threw a pick today. Purdy's pick was got bounced up. That pick, you want to talk about the ball going your way. Boye Mafe tips it. Christian McCaffrey juggles it, and then it just happens to hit Drake Thomas in the chest, and then he catches it while falling down, The Bears have been getting on the right side of that quite a bit, and you got a guy like Sam who leads the league in turnovers. You can see how it wouldn't even, just some fluky stuff could maybe happen in that game. But just from a talent perspective, no, I think it's the Rams and Seahawks as the two teams to worry about, in the NFC.
Phil Birnbaum. What is one move this season you would pinpoint as the difference maker to elevating the team to where they are?
Ooh, man, there's been a lot. I think it's weird. The obvious answer should be Sam, right? He's the quarterback, made the Pro Bowl, but I really do feel like the DeMarcus Lawrence signing was like the final infinity stone, for this defense. DeMarcus Lawrence joked about it a couple weeks ago when he made the Pro Bowl. He was like, "Yeah, I knew the Seahawks to win a Super Bowl." And to his credit, he said this in the offseason. And we were like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, they were only missing a couple things, a quarterback and me." And now, and he was joking, but I told one of the guys on the team, I was like, "But is he though?" Hey, not wrong. That is what they were missing. They were missing some other stuff too, but I can see why he looked at the team and said, "If they get a quarterback and they get me, we'll be straight." And he's right. So I think but a guy with that attitude is what they needed as well. It's like they're already loaded. I'm just about to just be that final piece for that. So and I think the other thing about his attitude is it's infectious to the rest of the team. I'll probably write something about this week, but what D-Law brings is just this hustle. Like, look at his 2 forced fumbles this year. The perfect example of what I'm talking about. Both of them, he is out of the play. Mostly, I think, because he did the wrong thing to start the play. But what does he do? He busts his ass and then gets back in the play. Not only does he get back in the play, he forces a game-changing fumble. And when you're as old as D-Law is, D-Law is the same age as me and Chris. When you're doing that, if you're a young buck, you have to follow suit. You have to be like, oh, that's what the Seahawks do. We run, we hit. That's what we do. I was talking to Derek Hall today. He was just like, we just run and hit better than that's our style of ball. Run, hit. It's easy for the young guys to feel that way though when they can see the leaders doing that. If D-Law is chasing guys down 20 yards down the field with his 33-year-old legs, if you 24, then boy, get down the field and go, and run. So. Sam could be the other answer to this. I don't know what you'll go with, Chris, but for me, it'd probably be D-Law.
Yeah, I think Sam is definitely 1A, but I think you're onto something with DeMarcus, man. He is. I remember the discussion about they're paying him how much? He got hurt in Dallas. Is he still that good? Well, yeah, he is still that good. Having him, he has been game changing for this defense, and that's all you could ask for. A guy that's playing above and beyond his contract. Okay, he's earned it, and he's showcasing why, when healthy, he's one of the best in the league. And he saw the vision, even though he might have been joking, but he probably was dead ass serious.
Nah, he not joking, bro. He just don't want to sound arrogant.
Which
that's
is
me
fair.
projecting.
I get it.
Marcus did not tell me that, to be very clear. He did not. But yeah,
I feel that. But bringing him in, he's played really good football. I think he's only missed, one game this season?
Yeah.
So
he got hurt in the Cardinals game and then missed the Bucks game.
Yeah.
And look what happened when they didn't have him.
Yeah. So he's earned his stripes. And what more could you say? Again, 1A is Sam Darnold, 1B, DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't think it's even close. No discredit to anybody else on the roster that has stepped up, that's come in, but he's definitely been a game changer. This next one, we got 2, and it's about John Schneider. One of them basically saying, so who is going to be the GM to dethrone John Schneider, for that executive award? And then Sam, he also is curious, is this the best year for GM John Schneider?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna write about this week. My little bi-week feature thing will be about John. Yeah, he probably should be executive of the year. I think the Patriots GM has a good argument. The Bears GM has a good argument. But yeah, it's John, and it's probably his best season. Well, we'll see, because he got a franchise quarterback in the 3rd round, a Hall of Fame linebacker in the 2nd round. And then the 2012 draft, he filled in with some depth pieces. I think he got Sweezy in that draft. And I think Jermaine Kearse might be in that rookie class, undrafted rookie class as well. Got Byron Maxwell in the 2012 class. Like, the 2012 offseason is pretty damn good. 2013 got Mike B and Cliff. I don't think that's as good as even 2011, when I think 2012 he also gets Shed too. Damn, he's on a roll. 2011's good. You get Ricardo Lockett, you get Doug, you get Sherm, you get KJ, you get Malcolm Smith, I believe, Super Bowl MVP. So he's got some other off seasons that are up there. I would say I mean, even 2010, you get Earl, Golden Tate, trade for Marshawn, draft Russell Okung, draft Cam Chancellor. There's another pick in there somewhere. Walter Thurman, maybe. So like he's got, man, those are probably his best four. So so 2010, 11, 12, all really good. 2012 has Russ in it. It's again, third, you get a franchise quarterback in the third round, you know. And then this year was really good. This was up there with about as good a year you could have as a GM. I'll write about this more, so I don't want to spend too much more time on this question, but I think the people he invested in was the right thing. Like as we talked about with D-Law's attitude, like what Cooper Kupp, I don't really believe in like paying guys just to be the mentor unless they're on like the minimum or something. Cooper Kupp makes $15 million a year, but still, he was the right guy to put around Jax. And I think that it's not a coincidence. I don't think that Jax is having like this one of the best receiving years since Cup while he plays with Cup. You know, there's value in that. Sam was the right type of guy to have. You know, one of the ways that I saw Sam was the guy when he was on the podcast with Marshawn, and he was like, "Yeah, if I throw a pick and the receiver ran the wrong route, I'm about to just say I should have threw him a better ball." Like he was like, "I'm basically like I'm gonna get up there and lie." Great, you should. That's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. You see guys that don't do that. So I just the right guys John invested in, I think, was really good. More so than the talent itself. It's the egos that these guys don't have, the attitudes, their approach. That's where he really, really, really got this thing right. The draft class is like fine. The Zabel pick is obviously very good. And then everything else is like, I mean, and Nick, Zabel and Nick. Elijah's kind of just, it's not like super impactful. Jalen Milrose, third round pick, you're doing nothing with. Released this year. Robbie's been up and down. Torrey's hurt. Ricky White. You know, there's a lot of guys that aren't really contributing that much, low key, in this draft class. But the offseason moves are huge. So yeah, I think John, it's really hard to make a case for. I'll mention this in my story too. I probably won't put this in my story, but you want to talk about the guys they lost? Look at this. I think DK was a great guy in the locker room. But Chris, on Thursday night, after Eric Saubert scored, where was Jax? In the crowd, celebrating with the fans, right? Because he loves the fans. A few days later, DK went in the crowd too. You know what he was doing? Getting suspended for snatching up a fan who he said something about his mama. And where's DK? Where's Jackson now? Helping his team get the 1 seed because he's eligible to play. Where's DK? His team's about to play a winner go home game on Sunday night, and he can't play because he went and snatched up a fan. Like it's the juxtaposition of the type of people that the Seahawks vested. And I don't think DK is a bad guy, but he is prone to do something like that. You know, so I think that's where John made the right moves. I still think the actual talent part, they could have used DK still. And you look at the receiving production they've gotten outside of Jack, it's actually not that great. But again, it's the people part that I think John really hit on.
Holly, she drops in. What's something about the Seahawks team and their path for number 1 seed that fans might not see on the surface, but that you've noticed from being around them all season?
Yeah, it's a lot of things, but it's something I've talked about before. And writing the book, The Franchise Seattle Seahawks, available not everywhere books are sold because Amazon's out. But if you want a book, hit me. I got a shipment that just came in. Anyway, when I wrote the book, the thing that stood out was how much guys are playing for each other. It was not just, oh, we're bigger, stronger, faster than everybody or hit harder. No, there was a lot of like guys would miss blocks as receivers and they would like call Marshawn or text Marshawn when they're watching film like, hey man, I'm sorry I missed that block. Like I can't do that. What? Receivers hitting up somebody like I missed a block? I'm sorry. And then in the middle of the week, that don't happen. That's selflessness. That's love from Marshawn because he played with a certain style that you were just like, I gotta do it for 24. I love 24. And my job is to do it for 24. And it wasn't just Doug, it wasn't just Ricardo, it was everybody. Felt that way. And then the same thing was on defense. It was just like, hey, I have to be right because if I'm not right, then KJ can't eat. If KJ's not right, then Bobby can't eat. And if he's not right, then then Mike B can't eat and Clem can't eat. And it's just like there was this loyalty to the cause. And that's why they were fighting so damn much. They were like, yo, you are not upholding the standard. It's time for me to punch you. Like that was really how they got down. Now, this team does not swinging on each other, but they have the same, like, I love the guy over there. That's what I'm doing it for. I asked Jax just straight up in the locker room or on the podium today. I said, what did the guys in the locker room mean to you? And Jack said, they mean everything to me. He said it takes a weight off of his shoulders to be playing for the guys next to him. He doesn't really care about, it helps him not care about, like, get 100 yards, get a touchdown. It's like, nah, go out there, block for K9. Go out there, run my routes so somebody else can get open. He plays better when that's the goal. And they just got guys like that. And you can see it in how they play. I think the Lenore stuff we joked about, but it's a perfect example. One guy's like, let me just man him up all game. Jack's like, I don't care. Whether you guard me, Renardo Green guards me, or Robert Saleh guards me. I just want to do my job and help my team win the game. Now Lenore's saying that because he thinks that guarding Jax will help them win the game. And maybe it will, because Renardo Green can't cover Jax. But you can just see it. That's one of the many examples, I think, of where it's just like they're real, that selflessness cliche, Disney movie feel that they're describing. I feel it. I feel the egos. I feel guys just being willing to do their part, even if they're in a contract year. I think I've talked about this before. Boy, off the record, on the record, Boy is not out here complaining about not starting, not getting sacks in his contract year. To my knowledge, Ken's the same way about all these Zach touches in the red zone. Like, he's in a contract year. Reek and Job, same thing. And that's you do not find that. I've been talking with some veterans on the team all the time. That's not normal. It's not. Guys that's in a contract year, they got incentives and stuff. You see a lot of dudes being like, wait a minute now, I could use another sack here. That's an extra 250 bands. No. You're not really seeing that here. And that's why they're so good. That is. There's this desire to make sure you are good for the guy next to you. D-Law said it the best. He's like, in the D-line room, they got a saying, feed my family, I feed your family. It's really that simple. Go hard for the guy next to you.
This next one, got two more. Mike is from Pratik. What were your guys' projections for the season and who fared better? I'm pretty sure I had the Seahawks winning 9 games. I don't know.
I think you had them more than me. No matter what you had, it was more than me.
You had them at 8?
I think no more than 9 for sure. I think you thought they would win 10, right?
Maybe it was 10. I know it was 9 or 10, but I think you had 9. I think I had 10 then. It's one of the, because I don't think you said 8 wins. I don't think you said they're going to go. Yeah, so I think it was, so I guess I fared 1 better. All right. Got Mike by 1. Albeit we didn't expect Sam to play as well as he did throughout the season, although he had, a couple of scares, but the defense too, man. I thought they'd be, number 3 or 4. They're number 1.
Yeah, I think what I got a lot of wrong, but actually I didn't get that much wrong. The thing that I underestimated was how explosive they'd be without a run game for like half the year. Like, they weren't running it that well and were still the best offense because they could just throw it to Jax. I did not think the Sam to Jax connection would just carry them for as long as it did. I thought we would see much more like what we've actually seen the last couple, like 8 weeks, which is, they can't just bomb it to Jax. They haven't bombed it to Jackson forever, by the way. And the offense, you see that the point totals and the yardage totals have dropped because of that. Like, this last 8 weeks is really actually what I thought we would see from them and from Sam. Sam's quietly, he was like a top 5 quarterback in like EPA and like QBR and all that stuff for half the year. He's actually dropped towards the middle of the pack. Let me see here. Let me look at. You guys know I love looking at True Media during the pod, but I'm pretty sure Sam is like 13th in like EPA per play or something like that. Like, he's not the upper echelon. He is. It's very similar to the Let Russ Cook season, where he's kind of, his overall season numbers are heavily lifted by just kicking ass the first half of the year, which is fine. You still got to play the first half of the year. But look, right now by True Media, Sam's 17th in EPA per play, right there with Trevor Lawrence and Marcus Mariota. Let's see, an EPA per drop back, he's 12th, right behind Mac Jones, right above Caleb and CJ Stroud. So that's actually what I thought. I thought we'd see like an inconsistent offense, overly reliant on Jax, elite defense, which is kind of what they've been the last few weeks. But the first like 9 games, they were the greatest show on turf, so it didn't matter. So I underestimated how just good Jax and Sam would be, but everything else I kind of feel like I just feel like because you were just more optimistic than me in general, though. I feel like you thought they could like be a real team.
Yeah, I
Where
thought
I
they
was
could be
kind
a
of
real
skeptical.
team. There were just a couple games I thought they would lose. I thought Sam would play really well, and for the most part, he's had a good season. To your point, though, second half, teams said, "You're not throwing deep to Jax no more, buddy. You have to figure something else out." The connection with Shaheed hasn't been what they want consistently. So when you look at it, yeah, sure, I mean, I wasn't right all the way because they got 14 wins. I picked them to get 10, so they'd call me a hater or whatever the case may be because I didn't believe. But here we are, and this team, as Micah said, book your tickets for the Super Bowl. Go ahead and cop one. I saw a couple of photos on that we were tagged in where we're seeing people betting money for them to win the Super Bowl. Go ahead, put your house on it. Go big or go home. Okay, I'm kidding.
That's no. I'm just saying. Let's separate the hosts here for a second. That is advice from Chris. That is not betting advice from me. Do not put your house on that.
Do not do that. I am joking. Although I'm sure a player will be like, "Go ahead, bro. We will take care of it for you. If we don't win, we will pay your mortgage." That'd be a nice deal, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think this team they've exceeded expectations from, I think, national media. If I went back to August and just watched all the clips of national media picking the win-loss record, I don't know if I could find too many reporters that said the Seahawks will win 12 plus games. Might be 5 that I could find, and that's me doing some homework. I ain't gonna do it because that would be a lot of time that's just a lot of work, even though it probably is simple. YouTube, Seahawks prediction 2025.
Someone will be doing that stuff this week. My guess will probably be Brian at Hawk Blogger. Will probably be doing that, finding the receipts. We won't be doing that, but yeah,
absolutely not. No,
no one thought there'd be a 14. I don't even know if these guys may not have thought 14 is a lot of wins, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, we got
set a new
we got
record.
some stuff. Yeah, the most wins ever in franchise history. Like I know these guys kept saying it was special, but yeah, I don't know how many people predicted this, but yeah, we got some stuff wrong, mostly on the offense. I probably underestimated how good the O line would pass per block as well without changing all the personnel. They basically have 2 new guys, Sundell and Zabel, and they've been really good in pass pro, much better than I thought.
Well, it's nice when you don't have a guy retire on you mid-season, and then you also don't have a guy with bad knees. And Abe Lucas, he's played the whole season. He's been healthy. So shout out to him. Charles Cross went down with a hamstring injury, and you're seeing Josh Jones, a really good backup left tackle, coming in and doing a pretty damn good job. So a better O-line, yeah, you're seeing the benefits of that. And this last question is from Watt. So where do we put Mike Macdonald in the head coaching hierarchy in the NFL now that he's finished with the number 1 seed and 14-3?
Oh, you gotta deliver in the playoffs. All the people I have in high regard are coach that delivered in the playoffs. That's Harbaugh's, both of them, Tomlin, McVay, Shanahan. If you're not that high on the floor, I feel you. But
Andy Reid.
I'm sorry. How did I forget Andy Reid? Yeah, Sean Payton. I think Mike Vrabel's going to do very well with the Patriots in the playoffs. Even Doug McDermott, the Bills coach. Like, there's a lot of coaches who coached a lot of playoff games. Oh, Nick Sirianni. I'm sorry, the reigning champ. So Mike's. I don't know where to put him in the hierarchy, but I will say this. This is why you hired Mike Macdonald. Like, he's good at the things that Pete was good at, like the messaging, philosophy, and then he's fixed some of the blind spots, and that's how they raised the ceiling again. Because that's why I was kind of so critical last year. I was like, you took a 9-win team, you won 10 wins. That's just that it didn't move me, That's what you should have done. I was like, good job. Now it's like, okay, this is the part where take the step. They didn't fire Pete just so you could win 9 games or win 10 games, your 10th win being over Jimmy G in a game the other team doesn't care. That didn't really move me. Fix the defense. Well, great. Special teams was whatever, and the offense was bad. It just didn't move me at all, really. But now I think this is take the steps. This is why though, because I don't think Pete's gonna ever coach again. But if he did, I don't think he'd ever win 14 games. He just kind of wasn't at that point anymore. Mike represents a new ceiling. I think you see teams like Green Bay, Pittsburgh, they're kind of at that same point. The Seahawks were like, okay, we love Mike Tomlin, we love Matt LaFleur, but like, are we actually going to make the Super Bowl with them? And the answer is probably no. The Seahawks had the same question with Pete, fired him, and now the answer is, can you get there with the new guys? Probably yes. But this was the expectation. And it didn't have to be a slow grind. Look at Vrabel. He fixed that whole damn thing. That's like going to be like the 2 seed. They won 4 games last year. It can be a quick turnaround if your coach is like that. Took Mike another year, mostly because John had a terrible free agency. But yeah, this is why you hire a guy like Mike. We'll see in the playoffs where he ranks and all that. But there's a lot of coaches in the league who have won a Super Bowl. So I think you at least got to do that before I have you leap any of those guys.
All right, Mike. We talked a little bit about the barnyard push, barnyard, whatever you want to call it, just the barnyard. What are the stats on that? Because we did get a question. We didn't have the specific stats on how successful it has been this season. So what do you have?
They should run the barnyard every time. That's what the numbers say. AJ has run it 10 times. He's got 9 first downs. The only time he ran it and didn't get a first down was the Rams game, where it looked like they kind of had half the guys were thinking about doing a fake. You remember that one? It was like a botched
that was
barnyard.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was a tush push, but no push. No one pushed him.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet just didn't do anything. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a weird design. They messed that up. That's the only time it hasn't worked. So they're 9 for 10 according to True Media. That was the one time it didn't work. So it works 90% of the time. They should run it every time until that number drops to like 50%. Keep doing it. So yes, the numbers support us. Yeah, Clint Kubiak. I don't even care if it's a long one. By the way, if it's 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get it. You get it every time that you actually push them. So they should do it.
Well, there you have it. Push them. And the Seahawks are pushing things to the limit as they are 14-3 Super Bowl road coming through Seattle. It's been a long time since that's happened. So I'm sure the guys will soak it up. They're excited for the opportunity. They get a week off. As Mike mentioned earlier, Charles Cross should be able to come back, as well as Kobe Bryant. So hopeful there for this defense. Looking forward to keep doing really good things, and Charles Cross can help out that offensive line, pass protection, and run game as well. We'll come back to you guys on Tuesday again. We'll do our one big thing, standout plays, and then that'll probably be it because, they get a bye. We don't have to do a preview until the following week. So how's that new year for you guys? Look at that. Look at that. Also, you guys should go get Mike's book. Mike, go ahead and plug.
Yeah, franchise Seattle Seahawks. Amazon's out of hardcovers. I'm going to have them print more paperbacks, by the way. But anyway, Chris is holding up the book now. If you want a signed book, hit me up. If you'll be at the playoff games, I will have them there. But also, I can just ship it to you as well. Like I said, I have more hardcovers coming in. I ordered a few dozen. The last that the publisher had, actually. So it's me and Barnes & Noble if you want a book. If you want to sign one, get it through me. So hit me up, DM me. We'll make it happen. I'll get them out to you. Appreciate the love and support. Selling out of Amazon is huge. So I appreciate that love for real. So thank you. Like Chris said, we'll be back later in the week. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Watch some ball. Don't be stressed. Your Seahawks might go to the bowl. Enjoy that. Embrace that. And we'll catch you guys next time.